transition, you guys. I want to talk about suicide. Is there a rash of suicide happening right now, or is there more at play? This morning, I woke up and found that Anthony Bourdain has died in what they're calling an apparent suicide at age, what is he? He's
61.
61. So, this dang Business Insider always wants to not allow me on their site because I use pop-up blockers. I got my filters enabled. But I've got this article here. Yeah, Bourdain, they're saying that he committed suicide, and I don't know. Jay, what do you think of this? I know you've been talking about this one today. What did you come across in your research today on the Bourdain suicide?
Well, the first thing I want to mention is that I brought up the fact that the CIA has been involved in cooking shows and cooking since the inception of cooking. And so Julia Child, she was actually a spy for the OSS. You can look at the screen here, and I have the NBC public article, very well known. Julia Child cooked up double life as a spy for the OSS. Now, her spy duties didn't just involve wartime stuff. It was also about culture creation. This is why we have the recent FOIA request showing that the Pentagon has been involved in influencing hundreds and hundreds of shows over the last several decades, including something as innocuous, seemingly, as Cupcake Wars. Why would the Pentagon be interested in Cupcake Wars? Now, you guys have heard me talk about this, but the reason I'm bringing it up is that it's absolutely applicable to the case of Anthony Bourdain. Now, I don't know, nor am I claiming to know for sure that Anthony Bourdain was a CIA operative. Although it is within the realm of possibility, given the history of TV chefs being in the CIA or the OSS. And certainly, I think we can conclude that Julia Child probably wasn't the only one, given the fact that, again, there's an interest in this. Now, his death is curious because he's not the only person to go in this strange way. If we remember, there was the death of David Carradine, the actor. But what a lot of people don't know is I read a book about the history of David Carradine and his father and different cults that they were interested in. And actually, the father of David Carradine was a big devotee of Aleister Crowley. So he was actually interested in that kind of mysticism and occult philosophy, and was interested in Crowley's OTO. And as I understand, at least from Heimbichner's book, he was a member for a while. So there was actually an occult interest on the part of Carradine. And the story, at least supposedly is, I can't verify this, but when David Carradine was killed, he was also investigating and looking into these cults. Now, I don't know if that meant he was dabbling in them, trying to join them or what. I think it's questionable. And again, if we think about the case of the spy in Britain that was recently killed and put in a duffel bag, the autoerotic asphyxiation or hanging method is quite often, not always, but quite often, a way to give a prominent person a death that makes it look like they were, dying in infamy, an ignominious death, right? You were getting your shits and giggles off by, autoerotic asphyxiation. Now, I don't know if that was the case of Anthony Bourdain. I'm just pointing out that Anthony Bourdain is a prominent person on CNN, and we know that quite a few people from CNN do have an intelligence pedigree, such as Anderson Cooper. Another interesting thing about Bourdain was that a few years ago on his show, he made the bizarre genocidal prediction that he hoped and he couldn't wait until 70 years from now when there would be no more white people. So very bizarre that.
Really?
I have the clip posted to my Twitter and my Facebook today. And then there's the bizarre aspect of what all he was posting on his Instagram, which, again, I'm not trying to make too much of. I understand this is all circumstantial, but he was going after Hillary on Twitter, posting some very bizarre things on his Instagram, all-seeing eyes and LSD trip stories, and what appears to be him dressing up in bloody scenarios where he's been beaten and I think these are. It's just for show, for shock value, but he's got like a picture of himself all covered in blood and beat up. He's got a picture of torture instruments. He's got a human heart. He's got a picture of Robert De Niro from Taxi Driver all covered in blood. Just very bizarre stuff, filling his Instagram and Twitter. Again, I'm not trying to...
What do you mean? Sorry, I'm just curious. What do you mean a human heart? Like a real humans? Like he's got like a...
It's not him. It's just a hand holding a severed heart. Again, I'm sure it's just Hollywood makeup, but what I'm saying is that he's giving the impression off that he is into weird stuff, because obviously he was. It's just very bizarre. I'm not trying to read too much into it. I'm not saying it proves anything. And his girlfriend was Asia Argento, Dario.
There we go.
Yeah. And I think
so he divorced recently.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was married for a while.
Well, okay.
Or was that the wife?
No. Okay, so Asia Argento was his current girlfriend, and Argento was one of the women who accused Harvey Weinstein of sexual assault.
Yes.
So and Bourdain, Bourdain was. Let's not also forget that Bourdain was employed by CNN, and Bourdain was an enemy of the Clintons, a vocal enemy of the Clintons, and he was a vocal supporter of the Palestinians. Oh. So that puts you at odds with your employer, big time. So I did not know
that part. That is new interesting information there.
Yeah. So and he was not afraid to use his platform to say this too. I have a tweet here from him where he says, "Know what Hillary Clinton is not? She's not stupid or unsophisticated about the world. The Weinstein stories had been out there for years." And this is coming from a guy whose girlfriend is one of the people that accused him of sexual assault. And he became a bit of a fierce supporter of the hashtag Me Too movement, which I think a lot of us know now has, kind of turned into something not good. But, I mean, for him, coming from his position as someone who was in a relationship with someone who had been assaulted by this guy, kind of comes a little bit with a little bit more seriousness, I think. Yeah, he had a young daughter, I believe. And with regards to the Obama thing, that was one of his biggest TV moments. It was in Hanoi, Vietnam, for his Parts Unknown show, and it was near Obama's final term. And Bourdain said, and I quote, "I had a healthy skepticism of the thing from the get-go. I didn't want to serve as a platform for a policy discussion. I didn't want to present myself as a journalist, but if the president wanted to hang out and eat a bunch of bun cha in the city I love, I responded to him in the same way I would anyone, with excitement about the prospect." So, I mean, clearly he's probably no buddy of Obama. I don't know. I can't say that for sure, but I mean, at least he's gone out there and said he was skeptical of it and not interested in trying to pose as a journalist or use his platform to be politicized. And we know that the Clintons and Obamas are quite tight. So, and we know that Weinstein and Hillary Clinton were quite tight also. So I don't see how he could have anything but disdain for these types of people, especially with the Weinstein thing coming out. I believe he started this relationship with, because he had a second divorce in 2016, and then started his relationship with Argento shortly thereafter. So I mean,
And let's not forget one of the daughters of alleged daughters. I'm kidding. One of the daughters of Obama was gonna intern for Weinstein, the Weinstein Company. I'll link that if no one's heard that one before.
No, I have. Yeah,
that's out there.